Welcome back to Destination Hoth, your source for Star Wars information, and I'm one of your hosts, the Big Mouth on the mic, as always, Daddy Rich, and I'm alongside
Jedi Dave.
Jedi Dave holding it down today, and it's Valentine's Day for us, so we snuck away from the wives. To actually have some time for our Valentine's Day to talk about Star Wars, so that's our wishes. So, but how is your Valentine's Day going for you today?
So far so good. I got a hockey puck actually for Valentine's Day. And before people sit and think that's the lamest gift I've ever heard, it's a hockey puck, but it's signed by Felix Potvin, who was the goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I remember in 1993.
Yes,
so I'm a big fan of
the
93 hockey team.
How long was he? 93, wasn't it?
For 93 to like 97, 98.
Yeah, because that's when I started watching hockey with you. It was around 96.
Like the late 90s, yeah. He was gone, I think, by the time you started watching.
No, I think he was still there. Was he still there? I think he was still there because I remember.
Maybe 97, 98.
Yeah, because we were still we were just met then, and you're like, you don't like hockey? I'm like, no, I never watched it. Who come watch hockey with me? And I'm like, all right.
I was insistent.
So and then I got hooked to the Maple Leafs. So now I get yelled at every time I'm in Ottawa. So
I think what made you a huge Leaf fan was a guy that we used to work with. His name was Jeff, and Jeff kept betting me that the Ottawa Senators would beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. And of course, if you've ever followed them in the playoffs, the Leafs always beat the Ottawa Senators in the playoffs. So just watching Jeff lose, I think made you a Leaf fan.
That actually made me, yes. And also the fighting. I was like, they fighting this?
Oh, yeah.
But back in those days, they were like, they had fights. So, and it was.
You cannot put like 40 guys in closed confined areas on skates rocketing around on ice at like 10 15 miles per hour and not expect them to hurt each other. It's just not possible.
No, but I got into it, and it was just I love it, and now I'm a Leaf fan, and I get booed at sometimes when I'm here in Ottawa, so it's okay. Hard.
I'm sure they're used to booing, actually.
Yeah,
there's no good hockey in Ottawa. So.
As our Ottawa fans out there, yes, there are some still good hockey out there. So, all right, today's show is going to be fun. We got lots of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about the big person who getting kicked off of Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah. What is new in Star Wars?
What is new in Star Wars? We're going to start with that. That's
we
really
got a new segment.
We got a new segment.
Introducing a new segment today called There Is No Try.
There is no try.
So do or do not. I'm going to pitch some ideas, and do you like it? Do you not like it? There is no try. But yeah, starting off with what is new in Star Wars. Oh, and we're also going to be talking about the Old Republic today.
Yes, we are going to talk about the Old Republic, and we're also going to talk about WandaVision a little bit because
WandaVision, absolutely.
I have to okay, so let's get into it. What's new in Star Wars? And it's Disney, so let's get into what's new in Star Wars right now. Here we go. Welcome. But the first part is WandaVision. Surprisingly, WandaVision is not Star Wars, but it's owned by Disney, so it's still Star Wars.
It's as cool as Star Wars.
It is cool as Star Wars.
It is as cool as
now you've been watching it for the now it's we're up to 3 more episodes left, right?
3 more episodes left.
Spoiler ahead. And I started watching it the first time. I was like, this is pretty good. I like the comedy. And I got the wife to start watching it with me too, and she's like, it's not Marvel. And so she's trying to get into it. And then I think it was the 4th episode, that's when everything changed. And you're like, what? And now I'm watching my wife sit there watch this. You have to look at your wife and sit there and watch her watch a show, because I feel like I'm watching Grey's Anatomy with her, because she's a big fan of Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. So it feels like I'm watching Grey's Anatomy with her, and she's just really getting into it. She's like, her face is just like, oh my God, what's happening next? Is that Vision? Yeah. Is he dying? And she's just like going through the whole thing, and she's like, oh, and she's like, when it ends, she's all frustrated. Like, it's the first time I remember the first time I took her to go see Infinity Wars. Mm-hmm. And this isn't now. Even though it's to my wife, she's very very strong about watching something with a story, and have a good story. And we started watching Infinity War, and for the whole movie, she's like, "Oh, this is really good. Oh, are they gonna get together again? What's going on? Wait. What's going on for the whole this?" And then at the end, she's like, "This movie is crap." As she walked out, she was like, she just could not stand the ending. So it was. I'm like, honey, but this is just part
I think,
two.
yeah, especially with Infinity War might be the darkest ending to a comic book movie I've ever seen.
It was just like you just sit back.
Kids were crying, man. I remember walking out and kids were crying.
I remember seeing Transformers when they killed off Optimus Prime in the Transformers movie, and kids were crying, "Oh, Optimus is dead." But this was like my wife was just like, but she finally got into it in episode 4 when they start bringing it into the Marvel world, and it looks really good. Like it's really good. Now, like the last episode, we finally get to see Pedro come back. That's WandaVision's brother, and we got to see the kids start getting their powers. Once again, spoilers. And now the question is, Rambo, I think her name is her name. Rambo. She's off to get help from one of her friends who works for Sword. And so
it's Monica, right? It's
Monica Rambo. Yeah, Monica Rambo. And so Rambo's went off to go get help. At that time, Wanda's powers start coming out, and it was just the thing is growing. The whole field that she's in right now is growing, and everyone got captured into it. And you see some people that just turn into clowns and stuff like that. It was just amazing how strong Wanda is. And so now she's off to Rambo's off to find out, get some help from her buddy. And now people are saying, this is what people are saying about this. It could be Reed Richard as her buddy because he's a scientist. It could be Ben Grimm
was
another one, and then Beast was another one that they popped up. It could be Beast there. Hank McCoy could be it. Now they're saying that now once again, you know that they are doing a Fantastic Four movie. And it is coming out pretty soon. Well, next year after year, whatever. Not that far away. They still haven't cast anyone to play Professor. What's his name again? I just said
Reed
his
Richards.
name.
Yeah,
Reed Richards.
I'm looking to send in my audition video. So,
so the rumors like, do you think Kevin Feige would put Reed Richards in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like shock everyone. Now it's supposed to be like 4 years. Now it's supposed to be 4 years, a 5-year thing. They already did. They're at what now? This is their second year. So we're only like 3 more years away from Fantastic Four. So could they bring Reed Richards in at this point?
I think so. You know what too, like after the epic decade that they spent building up the Avengers storyline, where all the Avengers were teaming up together to fight Thanos.
Yeah.
I think you now have to lead into something as at least that equal level.
Yeah.
Right? Something parallel. So if you are looking at building up something, then having something like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and all of those things kind of building up towards it, I think would be a brilliant idea. This show has been some of the most creative stuff I've ever seen. Like the writing is far more intricate for people who have read comic books and are familiar with certain things. I don't know if you noticed in this last episode of WandaVision, there was like during the Halloween stuff and all the kids are in costumes and everything, which by the way was first episode with kids. And then in the background, in one scene, there was this, I don't know if it was just like a statue that was on someone's lawn, but it looked like it was on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You saw it like this demonic looking thing,
and it keeps on going
staring
back
at her.
And keeps on going. They keep on going back every time they talk, and it was like that was the only thing that was in frame.
There.
Yeah,
right. And it's standing there, it's like still. So I at first I thought it was just decoration, like Halloween decoration on the front lawn, but it's on the sidewalk, and it just seems to be staring at her, and like. It really started making me believe that the rumors or the belief pattern online, which is that it could be Mephisto somewhere in the background, just started making me think that it's true. There's some moments in this show that are legitimately scary and creepy.
Well, you have that moment with the shark in the commercial where the shark called Your Magic. And he's like, when I'm hungry, I eat your magic. And you're like... That's kind of weird.
That's not a cereal commercial.
Yeah, and then you have the kid like slowly trying to open the thing, and it's like, and the kid's like slowly decaying and like just dying because you can't open your magic. And it's kind of like, is that Mephisto doing that right now? Is the whole thing that he's enjoying her using her powers and then it's eating it off? Now, once again,
oh my God, I didn't even think about it. You're so right. The whole time I'm like, okay, if Mephisto is part of the storyline, what would he be getting out of it? Right. So like, because he would do things. I remember there was an issue. J. Michael Straczynski wrote something in Spider-Man at one point where Mephisto made a deal with Peter Parker that he would bring back Aunt May.
Mhm.
In order to do so, though, he actually had to give up his marriage to Mary Jane.
Yes, I remember that storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone hated it because they got all upset because all of us nerds are happy about the idea that we could be with the supermodel. But the reality was like, and then Peter Parker was like, yeah, I'll do that because I know that we're destined to be together and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. We will eventually be together again.
Yeah.
So he agrees to it, and then of course, like Mephisto's getting something out of it. So Mephisto can do anything. Like he's basically the devil in Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
But he has to gain something. You have to give him something in return.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure it out because like the rumors online are they think it's Mephisto, and then I'm sitting there, okay, if it is Mephisto, what is he gaining? You're right. That cereal commercial kind of gives you the possible clue,
You imagine,
which is that he is forcing her to continue to use her magic in order to siphon it and use it for himself.
Well, another one person they bought.
I love it.
Another person,
Daddy Rich is so smart.
Another person that they brought up was Nightmare too. It could be Nightmare doing it
Nightmare?
too. Yeah,
possible.
Yeah, it could be Nightmare too. But we don't know. Like okay, this is who I think is definitely going to show up at the end of WandaVision. I definitely know that Doctor Strange. But I have a feeling that Doctor Strange will show up.
That would make total sense
in near the end of it to try
to lead into the movie, right?
Yeah, like so they can pawn in, or even that's the only person that can really show up. But I mean, for who Rambo is going to meet, I'm saying it could be Ben Grimm. But Ben Grimm's not really a scientist per se.
I liked your theory though, because she's a pilot, or at least her mom was a pilot, right?
Yeah.
So like I understand that there's that pilot connection, and that would be a good reason for why she would be going to meet Ben Grimm. I thought it was a good. At first I thought that doesn't make any sense, but then when you mentioned the pilot idea, I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah, they both are pilots.
That is what Ben Grimm is. Ben is a pilot.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Reed, and then by meeting up with Ben though, he's friends with Reed, and it gets you that connection. Like there's so much potential now for what they can do.
Yeah.
You know what it's funny because I was thinking about this. I don't want to get too much into WandaVision, but it's kind of funny. Like when I was a kid, like comic books kind of battled with each other. So Marvel and DC would constantly battle with each other with comic books.
Yeah.
So like when Cyclops debuted in X-Men in the comic books, where all of a sudden this guy could shoot beams from his eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what DC did with Superman? All of a sudden he could shoot beams from his eyes. So like, and they would go back and forth, and then some of them were so blatant, where you have like Deathstroke in DC Comics, where his name was Wade Wilson, and or Slade Wilson, sorry, and then they introduced Deadpool in Marvel Comics, where his name was Wade Wilson, right?
Yeah.
And they were just blatant kind of feed offs of each other. No one ever got sued, as far as I know. No one got offended. No one got upset because they challenged each other. There was this constant battle.
Yeah.
And now I feel like Marvel and DC is still doing this, but now they're doing it with movies.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? So the Avengers came out, Justice League comes out, right? They didn't even take their time the way Marvel did. They just like, well, we need to have our Justice League. We need to have that come out to battle the Avengers. And then they did like the same thing. So like the multiverse is now being introduced in Marvel Comics, in their Marvel projects and TV shows and movies. What is DC doing, right? All of a sudden, all the Batmen are appearing, and all of a sudden, like, actually, DC may have done it first with the shows, with Flash and DC and whatnot. They brought it in first in film.
DC did do it first with the TV version of it, and that was where their idea was going with the whole multiverse. Is because at the time they're struggling with the whole Justice League bombing, and now if you haven't seen the trailer, it's out right now for the Zack Snyder cut. It's gonna be March the 14th, I think it's coming out.
Yeah, something.
But once again, how DC said it is that they're gonna go with their alternate universes that they have, and each character, they can make a Batman movie with Ben Affleck, and can make a Batman with another Batman. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they can make a Flash with this person, and Flash with this person. So they want to go to that universe that they have, and I think that's a smart new move for them.
Very smart. I think too, like, think about if they were to do Batman Beyond, and then if they ever did Batman Beyond, where they have, say, Michael Keaton's Batman, playing the older Batman, because that to me would be more believable. I would believe him as that Batman.
Well, Batman, like Michael Keaton, will be in the new Flash movie.
sure.
So we're gonna definitely see him. But it's gonna be interesting to see how they take care of the world. But once again, we want to know your opinion about the whole situation. Feel free to send us an email, destinationhoth@gmail.com. Leave a comment at the bottom because we love to hear from you. About your comments about the WandaVision, if you have anything. Let's move on to the next topic that we are going to talk about. Our next, quick thing. WandaVision is now, for the first 3 episodes, are going to be hour long. So heads up.
Oh, so for the next 3 episods, they're an hour long.
They're an hour long now.
Excellent.
So there you go, little fact there.
That's
and
great. That gives me less time to watch it before work.
And another thing, quick little thing. I do love this Pedro. This Pedro is awesome.
Pietro. Like this
awesome.
this
He's
particular
awesome.
Pietro too. Like he's so funny and entertaining.
Yeah, he's just awesome. His personality.
And you love the little kick-ass joke,
Yeah,
which I didn't
because they
realize.
both were in Kick-Ass.
They were both in Kick-Ass. Daddy Rich told me this. I was like, okay, is it like Taylor? What's his name? James Arnold Taylor, whatever his guy. No, that's the voiceover guy. Anyway, but like you were commenting about how they were both like this Pietro played ass kicker in Kick-Ass, and then the other Pietro played Kick-Ass. So it's kind of funny, like they were both in the same film together. I totally forgotten that he was in that.
He was in it for a bit, but he wasn't in the second Kick-Ass. He did not show up. It was so they recast him for someone else. So
did they really?
Yeah, I went looking and they recast him, so he wasn't in the second one.
Interesting.
So that is our WandaVision little talk right there. Once again, it is dealing with the whole new world of Disney because they do have everything. That we love to talk about, so enough respect.
And I'm happy they do.
Yes, I'm very happy.
Because I know people love to piss and moan and complain, but let's be honest. What is the one thing that we wanted when we were kids? We wanted to see this stuff being made.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to see an X-Men movie. I wanted to see the Avengers. I wanted to see Justice League. I wanted to see whatever. I wanted to see these things made into movies. I wanted more Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
I wanted more Star Wars content.
Yeah.
I wanted a Star Wars live action TV show. I wanted an animated show.
And now we're getting more of that
stuff ever happened.
And now we're getting more of this stuff now.
And Disney is making sure that we get our fix.
All right. What else new in Star Wars news? Dave, you might want to talk about this at the start. Go right ahead.
We'll get it. I'll start
Dave.
it out. But
go ahead.
You opened my eyes to stuff, man. You were Daddy Rich is like the architect at the end of the Matrix, right? Where he's like tapped into like the internet.
Dave.
I gotta be honest, like
Jedi
we're in our
Dave.
40s, right? So I'm not a big internet guy. I do not like social media at all.
Yeah.
Actually, I've spent a lot more time on it now that we started the podcast, but I love talking to people in actually face to face, and just kind of I find it bizarre that people believe that social media now makes up their entire social atmosphere. It's sad, honestly, like because I feel like there's a lot of humanity being eroded away, right?
Yes, so true.
So that said, a lot of people, I don't know why, I think like people get drunk, I don't know. People have a moment where they're just like mad about something. Oh my god, like if I just started texting things after I watched the Leafs lose, I mean, God only knows what I would say, right? So, I think yesterday after the president former president was acquitted, I was.
You ready to text something?
I could have texted 1,000 things.
You know that he's banned from. He's banned from Twitter now, eh?
Right, like
he's
that's
banned
why I think
from
Saturday
Twitter.
Night Live referred to him as a former social media influencer. I love that term because like that is where I go. But this said, I think like if you get angry or you're having emotional reactions to things, and there's so many things you can say online, and you can say some stupid things, and it's important to still be a responsible adult and still be structured as an adult. And what has happened is Gina Carano, who is an actor who played an amazing character named Cara Dune on The Mandalorian, a fantastic, inspiring character.
Yeah.
And she really was great as that character. I know people are going to want to just jump all over her, but I'm being honest. Like I love watching her when they watched, what was the show called? The behind the scenes documentary for the first season of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
They talk about like she just seemed like a very sweet, a very nice person, a very well-rounded person, very respectful and courteous of other people. And then at the same time, you flip that coin, and then she seemed very much into the alt-right movement, like maybe a little QAnon,
Yeah, she's been talking
ridiculous
about some
QAnon
QAnon
stuff.
stories, and
Right, like,
I love
so
the SNL. Sorry, I love the SNL skit where they brought the witch on, and she's like,
The
"Listen,
witch.
I eat little kids, and but these guys are crazy."
And honestly, like, and you and I, we do try not to offend people on
No,
this show,
no.
but my best description of QAnon is, imagine if the Manson family had access to the social media or internet world.
Yeah,
And that's where you've got this stuff where you can just make up any outlandish theory or conspiracy theory or idea, and there's just no way of proving it. But then you can always go, well, there's no way to disprove it either.
well, you got to look at it this way. Like, once again, freedom of speech is great for people to talk about things. How we can come on Destination Hoth and talk about Star Wars and what we like and kind of not like, but we never really hate anything.
Right.
So we're not saying that a person should not have the right to voice their opinion about certain things. So that's where we're trying to stay. Back to you, Dave.
Right, but at the same time, though, we're not employed by Disney. We're not employed
Not
by
yet.
Lucasfilm. But that is like unlikely to happen. But the idea is that when you are employed by a company, there's going to be like rules and restrictions and policies that you need to follow while you're working for that company. If your company is a public company, like a movie studio or a sports team or something like that, they're going to have expectations for how you carry yourself in the public eye, because even when it's off season or even when you're not filming a project, you are a representative of that company.
Yeah.
So if your voice is not carrying the same message that they are trying to carry, and let's be honest, Disney has had some shadowy past in the back, like in before, where they've made films that were, I remember even as a little kid watching like Aristocats and thinking, man, that's a pretty racist movie. And I was a little kid and going, man, that's pretty cool. Or like The Crows and Dumbo, right? So there were things that you would watch and you'd go, okay, that seems, a little cringy. That seems uncomfortable. But you look at the company and how they're trying to evolve. They're trying to do better. And if they're trying to move forward and try to get better, they're going to try to clean up a lot of that crap. And you were pointing out that they had given warnings to her. So what was the first comment?
So the first one was the mask thing, where she put up the mask thing, and
which doesn't make any sense that a martial artist would not want to defend themselves against something. Yeah. Like as a martial artist, I can't understand how she couldn't embrace the idea that wearing a mask protects you from transferring a virus that is killing thousands of people.
Yeah. Now, like, do you know what I mean? So she had a warning. Disney reached out to her representative at the time, because she's no longer with that agency anymore. And
you told me that the agency had dropped her too.
Yeah, the agency dropped her too. So they reached out to the agency and they turned to ask her to please not do that, blah, 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 blah. She agreed, said, yeah, no problem. Now, let's before we get into that, let's go back a couple of years, a year back, or year two back, when some really awful stuff that the director of Guardian of the Galaxy, James Gunn, said on his social media sites 10 years back. And it popped up, and more or less Disney, before they can even sit down and talk to James Gunn, they let him go. They're like, you're fired. I'm done, blah, blah. Now, meanwhile, those things were 10 years ago, and he actually, leading up before this whole thing with Disney, he was apologizing about the stuff that he talked about 10 years ago, before even it was released that he said these stuff on his thing. So he didn't even get a chance to, didn't get a speaking to or anything. They just let him go. All right. So now let's go back to now. Well, her first time she was talked to by Disney saying, please, can you not do this? Blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. She said, okay. Second time, that was for Disney's trying to get the bi and transsexual.
That's right. The transgender community.
And they wanted her to use the pronouns in any of her thing for Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. Sure. Now, once again, I completely agree. No one should tell you what to put on your Instagram or your Facebook or anything like that. If you choose not to do it, don't do it. Don't say anything. So she ended up tweeting out beep boop 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 boop,
Right.
like
I
an
remember
R2
that.
do, and then she was just saying she was joking, and she came out and said, "No, I did it because I didn't really want to be involved with this situation." So
Right.
they brought her in again, and they talked to her and said, "Listen, please, blah blah blah." She said, "Okay." So the third time she did this now, it was for something I can't remember what the third time was, but this time they had to had a big
This
sit
one
down.
was the sharing of a post. So she shared a
Oh,
post
it's-
where she compared what it was like to be I mean, she's classifying herself as a conservative, but I mean, it's really just this alt-right movement, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just bizarre stuff. So
Yeah.
and that she compared being someone who has their own political beliefs or being attacked by for your own political beliefs is just like what the Jewish folks had to
No,
endure
that was
through
no,
the
that was
Holocaust.
the last one that got her.
What, so that
There
wasn't even the third
That
one?
wasn't the third. There was a third one where they brought
my
everyone
goodness.
into, and they actually
She's got a
sat down.
track record.
Everyone she sat down with them, and they're like giving her so much chances. Like, listen, could you please not do? I can't remember what it was, but they'd say, "Could you please not do this?" Et cetera, et cetera. And then that's
then
when
this.
then this one where they're like, "Well, we can't. I'm sorry, we can't have you anymore." Dealing with Mandalorian. Now, the thing that I brought up with Dave with the whole thing with her doing this, it's like having someone come to your house for dinner, and you invite them over, and it's gonna be a bad language coming out, and they called your wife a bitch, and. So, like, would you start serving? Hey, thank you, and start serving potatoes, and or would you have some words and tell them to leave? I think you would tell them to leave if they're calling your wife a certain name, and I think that Disney tried to see if they can if she can. Tried. I can say they tried.
Right.
They say they tried. Like, because you go back to Mandalorian himself, Pascal, and he tweeted something. And you were telling me that the tweet was the
right. He was comparing having people who are coming across the border and being locked in cages and separated from their families. He compared that to the Holocaust and how people were. But once again, that is comparable because it's actually the exact same physical.
Now
act.
you agree with that, but Disney at the time did take
Didn't
him
want
aside,
to do that.
took him aside and talked to him, and he did not say anything else after that. I still don't see him say anything else after that. He had the conversation.
No, he's been extremely courteous and respectful, and like he understands. Like, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having your own opinion.
No,
but the problem is that if your opinion is being public, right? If your opinion is publicized and that opinion is counterproductive to what the company is attempting to do, then you can understand why they would want to cut ties with you. And I can't see Black Lives Matter wanting to recruit somebody who was a former Nazi. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that as good for their image. And it's the same idea. Like, if your motivation is to try to change something and try to make the world a better place, which Disney, like I said, seems to be wanting to go towards that atmosphere, going backwards and trying to offend people without any kind of remorse or malicious, but always with some sort of malicious intent, just doesn't seem to be the way Disney wants to play, or any company should want to play.
So I do agree with you. Like now, once again, people are saying that's freedom of speech. They're not giving her a right to do her freedom of speech, and they're being racist and da. She's Latino herself, so it's not like she's it's like she's so but I mean, you're right, Disney is trying to change. Like the Splash Mountain was they thought that was too racist. When I went there, when I went to Disney World, Splash Mountain was closed because they're rebranding it to be Princess Bride, so they're gonna make it more of a Princess Bride ride. Before
the Princess
Frog. Princess Frog.
Princess Frog.
So they're going to make it more a Princess Frog ride instead of because a southern kind of
right.
Yeah. So they're changing.
They're changing that they're not, that the people who completely go on this side are not conservatives. They're not fiscal conservatives anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like a typical Republican or conservative would be looking at this and going and talking about business rights and the rights of a corporation or a company.
Yeah.
Right. So in this aspect, you would think they would defend the right for a company like Disney to be able to say, we don't want that attached to our company, and get rid of them.
Well, it's like
it's not attack on free speech. It is making sure that the image of your company is solid and is at least popular enough with the average person. And the average person does not believe the things that she believes.
Well, you got to look at it this way. Now, if I got the job working at Disney and I'm going to be in, say, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I'm going to be the new lead of Falcon and Winter, Daddy Rich, the new Black Panther, and
Right.
and I send a tweet out going, Donald Trump, the president before was I'm not going to
social media influencer.
yeah, social media is not a very good social media person or whatever situation. And they came to me and say, well, Mr. Daddy Rich, can you please not do that, and you can keep your job? I'm like, yep, okay, yep, no problem. Take it down. There you go. Apologize. There you go. I'm good. I'll be your next Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's not too hard to say that I want this job and I want to keep this job. And then once again, I'm in their house. You know what I'm saying? I'm their Black Panther. Or if Dave wanted to come along and be Captain America, and I think you would if you put up saying the Leafs are the best, better than Montreal, and they come in and say, well, we don't think that you should say this at this time.
But
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't you take it down?
See, and I think that's the thing. Like, the best comparison I can come up with is at any job, right? I work like over 40 hours a week at my job, right? And at that job, I have a schedule, right? I'm supposed to work at I start at a specific time and I finish at a specific time. And that is the schedule that's been assigned to me. So I am still free as a civilian or a citizen of Canada to be able to do whatever I want with my time. And as long as it's legal. However, as long as I want to work at that company, I'm going to have to devote a certain amount of hours every week and scheduled hours to work at that company. If I don't want to work for that company more, then I can leave. And I feel like if I was given the privilege, and you and I both agree on this, that the privilege of being a Star Wars character,
or Marvel, anything,
exactly, I would do whatever they need me to do within moral boundaries, right? That I would still be able to do what I need to do. And I mean, what she was doing was the opposite. Like, she was endangering people by encouraging them not to wear masks, or she's being disrespectful to people by comparing what she's going through by having to be responsible with her language as being the same as being in the Holocaust. No, I'm sorry. They're not even in the same league. They're not even the same. They shouldn't even be in the same conversation. Right. So like, those are not the same things. Like, it's like, if I can go to work and I can speak my mind and have my own opinions, but if my opinions are offending people, then I may get fired. And that's at any job. That's not just Disney. That's anywhere. And it just so happens that with Disney, if somebody is tainting their image, they could lose millions of dollars. If suddenly there was a worldwide boycott and they're no longer watching The Mandalorian because people are disappointed with her and the fact that Disney's not doing anything about it, they could lose millions of dollars. And I think that's the thing. Like, people need to look at it the way a company thinks and the way a person should be thinking. Honestly, it's 2021. Do I believe that people are too sensitive nowadays? Absolutely. Do I agree with cancel culture? No, I do not. However, we grew up in a society in the 80s and 70s and 90s. Yeah, we grew up in those eras. Face facts were old.
Yeah.
But the idea is that people were insensitive a lot when we were growing up.
So true.
And maybe it's time for people to just be a little bit more respectful and show some more sensitivity towards other people's feelings, because we're all in this together, right? Humanity's 7.8 billion people. We're all part of the same family. And if we're not respectful of each other, then it's going to end up the way it is in the United States right now, which is you have two sides on opposite sides of a wall, and they're killing each other. Like, they're battling each other over opinions and beliefs. And to me, that's just not worth losing my life over.
Well, it goes back to it. Like, once again, we believe that people have the right to talk about talk about whatever they want, freedom of speech. We do believe the rights for people to talk. Like, she was going on there saying, we need more people to donate blood. I don't think Disney
Yeah,
would have an
that's
issue with
good.
that.
No.
If they needed, she went on there talking about, look about maybe adopting kids if you can't have kids. I don't think Disney
Wonderful.
would have anything about that,
No, that's good.
Or she went on to say, you got to vote,
Right.
nothing wrong about doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
If
that's
she posts something where she says Tom Hanks is raping and eating children, then that's ridiculous and
Yeah.
that's insane. And yeah, then they were going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, and that's why I think where she went. Now, once again, do we think she will go back to Disney? Maybe go back to Mandalorian? I think they might. I think they did give her 3 chances. Do I think it was right for them to let her go? It's my opinion. It's a business. It's a business. I can't really say anything much about that. So all the people out there who are hating on the fact that she got let go, freedom of speech and all that stuff, once again, it's a business. At the end of the day, they hire you. It's like if you go to your job and you're working at McDonald's and you start calling people out, going, "Hey, you're too fat to eat McDonald's." I don't think McDonald's will keep you there.
No, they would not keep you.
You know what I'm saying?
You are counterproductive.
You know what I'm saying? It's a business at the end of the day. She's a great actress. I thought she got even better.
She's a good
I thought she got even
was
better.
getting better, though.
Yeah, I
Right.
thought she was getting better. I love everything she was in and even in Deadpool. She was in Deadpool. I loved
so
her.
cool.
I'm big fan. I'm a big fan of her. I find her really hot. So I hopefully she'll come back.
And that's the thing. Like I oh my gosh, I couldn't even wrap my head around it. Like it was like you would watch her in an interview, and she just seems like the most wonderful person. And then she would just say things on social media, or she would like tweet things or like repost stuff, and you're like, what are you doing? Like I can't even I don't even know how to compare it to anything.
Well,
but you know what? She ended up with like some sort of right-wing movie gig afterwards. Like, so I'm thinking she didn't care about this job. Honestly, like I'm really starting to think she didn't care about being in the Mandalorian because like you and I were saying, like if I was working for a company and they said, look, cut it out with this rhetoric, I would stop. And she didn't stop, even though like you said, she had 3 chances and she didn't stop. So clearly it meant more to her to move on from Disney than it meant for her to be respectful of other people.
I'll give you an example. Once again, like it goes back to this. I think she will. They might bring her back. Like once again, they didn't kill off. As far as I know, they're not killing off the character, not recasting the character. She was before she was let go, she was already signed to do maybe her own spinoff. So it was like it was there for her to do her own spinoff. Like it was signed, and they had to stop that too. So once again, we don't know what's going to happen. Once again, we do believe me and Jedi Dave do believe in freedom of speech because we're on here. I
ran a poll on Twitter, Daddy Rich.
Yeah.
And 76% of the people who responded to that poll said that they felt Michelle Rodriguez would be a good replacement to play Cara Dune. I'm just saying, I ran a poll.
So once again, we want to know your opinion. Feel free to leave a comment at the bottom of our page here. Also, you can always send an email in to destinationhoff@gmail.com. That's destinationhoff@gmail.com. Or you can find our Twitter on, what's our Twitter? Where's your Twitter at?
D Hoth Podcast.
D Hoth Podcast. All right. Don't forget to check out our Instagram page too.
And if you're planning on attacking us over these comments, do not, because we don't care.
Once again, we are not.
You have positive things to say. We love hearing it.
No, but I mean, like we're not disagreeing for her to speak out of what she believes in. There's nothing against
I disagree
that.
with her. I disagree with what she said.
I don't. I
do.
just like I'm not
You
disagreeing.
don't?
I'm not disagreeing with it, but she has the right to say it.
Right. I don't agree with what she said, but I do believe she has the right to say it. I do at the same time believe that she worked for a private company and that company does not want to tie it. She has the right to say stupid crap, and they have the right to say we don't want to be attached to you.
Once again,
crap.
it's like working at McDonald's and you see a fat person
Yes.
walking in. You can't have this. You're too fat. Like it's just.
I'm sorry. What do you weigh? 240, 250? You sure you want to add a large fries to that?
We got salad now. We got some
He's like,
salad
Billy,
now.
can you come over here for a second, please? We're gonna have to let you go.
We got some
Why is
salad
that?
here
Because we
for
just
you.
lost $30 worth of sales because you told people to leave the Big Mac. On the table.
That is once again, that is it's just I can't believe. All right, let's get into what we're moving on from what's new in Star Wars. Once again, thank you for tuning in for that part. Let's get into it. We're doing Old Republic now. Are we going
Old
into
Republic?
Old Republic. Go ahead.
I honestly, you know what? Like, I thought it'd be a good conversation to get into. I've seen like at least hundreds of people on social media, and of course, like I play the game, The Old Republic, And most people I know that are Star Wars fans have played Knights of the Old Republic, maybe read some of the novels. And
I
of course,
read the new one. It's actually really good.
Well, that's the High Republic.
The
book,
High
right?
Republic, yeah.
High Republic. Well, it's not Old Republic.
It's oldish. It takes place
Oldish.
oldish.
There's an author named Kevin Scott who wrote one of the two major High Republic books. I had him confirm that yes, the High Republic and the Old Republic are in fact two very different eras. So but High Republic sounds amazing, but Old Republic is supposed to be even way before High Republic, right?
Yeah.
I think like, so you and I've had so many discussions about possible ideas of where they could go with another film trilogy. And Old Republic constantly pops up, not only between us, but online, and other people seem very gravitated towards the idea of doing a film trilogy or a series based on that, because they want to see some of their beloved characters from the games and the books come to fruition. They want to see it come to live action, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anyone's ever played Knights of the Republic, it's an amazing game. You're following it in classic Star Wars fashion. You play the game. You really have no identity. You're just some random person.
Yeah.
And then you go through the game, and you build up your character, and you kind of become a Jedi, and all of these different storylines that exist within that game. And then you find out that in classic Star Wars format, where there's this big reveal. And if I'm ruining this game for you, then I don't understand why you're listening to a Star Wars podcast, because everyone knows the end of this game. It's so long ago that the game came out. But you find out you're Revan, which is like, you were the main villain at one point, and now they've been taken in by the Republic, and they're kind of helping you either turn into a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah.
So like, you actually make decisions throughout the game. Reminded me a little bit of the choose your own adventure books back in the day, right? So like, you would you could actually turn to page 46 if you want to do this, or turn to page 45 if you want to do that. So the difference is, in this game, you actually end up either going dark side or light side. And it was really epic. Like, the game was really cool. It was a really good storyline. Eventually I got to a point where I could finish the game in like 9 hours. And I'm not a big video game guy. I actually suck at video games.
Yeah.
So if I could finish it in 9 hours, it was a pretty cool game to play.
Yeah.
And then there was a Knights of the Republic 2, where there was another character, and then like they kind of followed that story along. There were some novels. There was a book called Revan, which was really great because you're following the Revan character.
Yeah.
He marries this, or kind of becomes it has a relationship with another character named Basta Lashan. That character then goes on to have her own family, and then so forth. And then you go, I think 300 years after that storyline took place, you have a massive online role-playing game called the Old Republic, which thousands of people still play. It was one of the most expensive games to produce at the time, and I still play it. I think the game launched, I think 12 years ago, was it, or something like that?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 2012. I think maybe the game launched, so maybe 9 years,
Probably 9 years
or 8 years. I've been playing this game, and my wife has actually been playing it lately. My daughter was playing the game, but then she stopped to play Animal Crossing. So whatever. But I mean, like, it's a fun game, and there's so many different things that you can do on it. So there's player versus player ideas that you can have war zones. So there's different settings or backdrops and different capture the flag type techniques where you're playing the game in that aspect. But then there's like player versus player, where you have like star battles, so galactic starfighter. So you're in like these small ships, and then you're fighting with each other. Either you have to capture satellites, so you have to blow each other out of the sky. Then you also have your storyline. So there's like a core storyline that you can follow through with your character. And most of those storylines in some way tie back to the original Knights of the Old Republic game. So like, some of those characters might actually come in contact with other characters that have ties to the original game. You even go to a planet called Terrace, which was the first planet in the Knights of the Republic game, which ended up being destroyed, not the way Alderaan was destroyed or something like that, but in a way that buildings got destroyed, and the life was destroyed. So, and then you go to Terrace and you see like this ruins on a planet. It's really cool. And like, I think it's kind of neat to be able to play. You played for a little bit though, right?
I played for a bit. Yeah, it was fun to play. I didn't get a chance to finish. My computer wasn't fast at the time, but I ended up playing with it, and I loved it. And then once again, I did some more research on some more stories from the past. And like, once again, you're right. People are really the Star Wars fans are really hungry for Old Republic.
Right.
Like we don't know what movies are coming up right now, but maybe you never know. Kevin Feige could do Old Republic. They have the creators of Game of Thrones, the TV series, to maybe do an Old Republic. They'd be amazing for the Old Republic.
Right.
Do you think it'd be better as a movie or a TV show?
I honestly, I would have said movies for sure before, but Mandalorian, WandaVision, these shows have been so good that I understand what they can do with television now too. So
yeah,
I would accept anything. I think the big consensus, of course, and of course we're a little biased as Canadian, but I would like the idea of Keanu Reeves playing the Revan character.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
And to see Keanu in Star Wars would just be amazing, right? So,
yeah.
Because up till now we only have one Canadian playing a major character in Star Wars, and that's Hayden Christensen.
Yes, it was.
Right?
No, there's two.
Yeah,
there was two in. There's him, and he was a pilot. I remember watching the thing on Netflix where they had the cast, and he's Canadian, and he played one of the wing pilots in the first Star Wars movie.
Really? But that's not a major character.
Wow.
I mean, the closest actually would be the new one in The Mandalorian, where you have like Mr. Lee from Kim's Convenience, right?
Yeah,
where he's playing a pilot, and that's a cool Canadian guy.
Yeah,
but I mean, like,
he was Canadian, but it wasn't major, but he was a Canadian in it.
But I mean, it's not like Anakin Skywalker.
No,
right? Like, and now to play Darth Vader as well, right?
He's coming back again too as Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan TV series coming soon. So,
which is going to be amazing.
I can't wait to see
so
that.
like. I think the great thing about because I have a friend of mine that we were having this discussion about Star Wars and what they really should start doing, and if you can get away from the Skywalker saga, and not only but from the Skywalker saga.
Whoa! You said get away from this now. Hold on. This guy, when I was talking about Star Wars, when we started watching the new series, I'm like, well, maybe it's not going to be. No, can't be Star Wars without the Skywalkers in the saga. Now you're saying get away from it. Are you feeling all right? Are you drinking iced tea?
Okay. All right. I am drinking iced tea.
Are you sure?
Let me say, one, you're right. So I will say because I have no problem admitting that. One,
I'm right. Wow, thank you.
Two, I feel like I've gotten all I can out of the Skywalker storyline now, and I feel like it's time to be able to. If you could go into something so far into the future or so far into the past that storyline really has no relevancy anymore. But even if you went like 30 years or 300 years into the future, the Skywalker saga is still going to have relevancy, right?
Yeah.
You're still going to hear about the legend of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So I think it would be great to be able to go into the Old Republic, where you're now a potential 3,000 years before the Skywalker saga, and now you can do anything you want with your storyline, have complete creative freedom to be able to structure a story that has nothing to do with the Skywalker story. So everything is new and everything is fresh. And at the same time, like, you have so many dark side characters. Like, if you're playing the Old Republic, the Sith there's just as many Sith warriors as there are Jedi.
Yeah.
So there's so many ideas that you can pull out from that, like different storylines that they could do. And it'd be amazing to watch.
That's what I'm thinking that they are going to do, is like, because Kevin Feige, once again, Kevin Feige is amazing with all the stuff he's been doing. And it's going to be interesting what he does with his Star Wars. Is it going to be a saga? Is this going to be a one-time Star Wars? They already got a writer already for it. So that's, I can't remember who the writer was that's going to be writing for Kevin Feige's Star Wars. I'm trying to remember who the writer is, but they already got a writer for it. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do this Star Wars. Like, I have a feeling Kevin Feige is a fan just like us, because you can tell from how he controls the story through Marvel. I have a feeling he's a fan of Star Wars, and I think he's going to probably reach out to the stuff that he wanted to do. I think it might be an Old Republic. That's what I'm thinking.
It would be great to do.
But
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hold on, and I was going to say, like, I think when you understand too that Disney seems very interested in what fans want, right? I mean, if there had, even when you're going back to the Gina Carano issue, if there had not been enough backlash on social media, I'm not sure Disney would have done anything about it.
Yeah.
Right. But they saw that people were upset with what was done, and they did something. And I think it's the same thing. Like, they heard some of the backlash from their sequel trilogy, and they've heard, and you can see where that's come in The Mandalorian, and their ideas for future projects seem far more reflecting of what true Star Wars fans would want to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even Patty Jenkins' film Rogue Squadron sounds incredible. Like I even though it's a one-off movie, I'm like, yeah, I want to watch that. Like that sounds fantastic. And I think that because they're so interested in what fans want, and because they know that that's where their money is going to get made.
Yeah.
The Old Republic would be a great way to go. And like for those who have not played the Old Republic video game, like I suck at games, so if I can enjoy this game and still have fun, like it's definitely something that people should get into.
Yeah.
And then you get an idea of the world, and there's so many new planets that they've introduced into the game as well. So like different characters, different storylines, and there's a core context to what is going on in the background. Like you are part of a faction, either the Sith Empire or the Republic, right? So when you see all the potential for a movie and what it could do, and definitely having Keanu involved, just because one, he's freaking cool, and I think that it'd be awesome to see another Canadian playing a major character in Star Wars for sure.
We want to know your opinion out there. Once again, feel free to leave a comment at the bottom of our page here on Destination Hoth. Also, you can send an email to us at destinationhoth@gmail.com and let us know your opinion. Also, you can find us on Twitter. Once again, leave your opinion, or Instagram at Destination Hoth on Instagram. All right. Now our segment. Yeah. So we want to, and also if you do have a question that you want us to ask, like if you want to say, hey, what do you think about this new Star Wars story that comes out, feel free to send us an email and we'll definitely read it on the show. All right,
for sure. We'll answer it.
We'll answer it. Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get into our next segment. This is a brand new one that Jedi Dave thought of. He's gonna shoot some rapid questions at I guess at me, because I'm the only one here. So let's get into it right now. What is it called?
So this game, or this segment, is called There Is No Try. So if you remember the epic line in Empire Strikes Back, do or do not, there is no try.
Yeah.
Said by
Daddy Rich. No, I'm joking.
Daddy
Yoda,
Rich,
Yoda,
right.
Yoda,
So
Yoda.
If you remember, Luke Skywalker had to go to Dagobah to find Daddy Rich.
Yeah.
And Daddy Rich stole his food and
stole his food. Oh.
And then oh my gosh, one of my favorite lines too is like, he's just like, do or do not, there is no try. And he goes, all right, I'll do it earlier. And then Luke is like, he can't raise the X-Wing out of the water. And he's like, oh my gosh, you want the impossible. And then he's like, and then Yoda's like, I can do it. So Yoda pulls the X-Wing out. And then Luke says, I don't believe it. And he goes, that is why you fail.
And that's what we want. You know, a funny thing, speaking of that, that's what we wanted to see in The Last Jedi. We wanted to see him do that.
That's a full circle of him raising the X-Wing out of the water.
You saw it in the water there, and you wanted him to raise it out of the water, but he never did. So,
you know what I felt? Because it is Valentine's Day, so we'll make a nice little tie. Last Jedi has a lot of those moments where I feel like maybe a lot of women out there who are with men who don't know what they're doing in the bedroom. Where they're like, you're almost there, and then it just leaves you hanging.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of those moments in Last Jedi where it's like, oh, there's an X-Wing in the water. Oh, Luke's gonna raise the X-Wing, and then no, he doesn't. Right? Oh, Luke Skywalker's there. He's gonna save the day. He's gonna be classic Luke. Oh no, he's not. No, he's not. So it's like, yeah. I just felt maybe Rian Johnson needed to find the clitoris, and let's maybe get a good, a good movie going there.
Okay. All right. So let's get into your questions before we get a little bit X-rated here. Go ahead.
It's Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day.
This is the X-rated part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Put the kids away and get ready.
This from the man who dropped the F-bomb on the season finale.
That was different. That was different. That was different.
Okay, all right. So there is no try. Are you ready?
Yes.
Did you want to cue some music for this? This is going to be epic. This is going to be epic.
Nah. This is good.
All right.
Man, there's your music.
Do. There we go.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. First scenario.
Okay.
Do or do not like this. All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So Disney will stick with more television Star Wars projects than film projects, even after the next phase of plans.
Do stick with it more, because I think they have the the opportunity to tell greater stories because they have the more of the time to do it, and they can stretch it out. When you do a movie, you kind of crush everything into one to try to get a story out. I think they should stick with the TV for now and wait to do some movies when they have actually a good story. Because I think the last time was just a little bit too chaos, where they lost directors, they gained directors, this and that, and they're trying to do everything. They're trying to have a movie per one movie after another movie, and I think it didn't work out for them.
For sure, they kind of lucked out with Solo because they lost they gave up on their director, but they ended up with an Academy Award winning director, Ron Howard.
Ron Howard.
Like if you need someone to clean up a mess, like an Oscar winning director is probably your way to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love Solo, right? So it was great. I think you're right. I'm going to say do as well. I see them because they've got a trilogy planned and they've got Rogue Squadron. Those are the only movies I can think of that they've got planned.
Yeah.
But then they have like Book of Boba Fett. Mandalorian
they have
still going.
Where's my book? They have a list of TV shows
that they're doing for Star Wars.
Yeah, so I think they should stick with the TV shows. I think it fits perfect with them for now, and then less
expensive, productive.
Yeah, so we just have to see what happens. All right, next.
All right, so our next scenario for do or do not, there is no try. We have despite previous comments.
Yeah.
The next Star Wars trilogy will actually tie into the Skywalker saga.
No. I don't think so.
Not?
I think they do not. I don't think they're going to touch on Skywalker for a long while. The question is, any of these cast members from the last Skywalker saga will they ever come back? I don't know, but I don't think they're going to do another Skywalker saga for a while.
I agree with you. I say do not as well. I think. I would love to see Chewbacca again, but I would love to see Chewbacca on a Han Solo TV show.
Yeah, there's some talk about that too. Yeah,
continue the Solo storyline on Disney Plus. And I love. I think it's Eunice Suetomo. I think that's how you say his name. He's just an amazing guy. Yeah. Loves being Chewbacca.
Oh, he's awesome. I met him. He's actually a really nice man.
So wonderful. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember when I met Peter Mayhew.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like he was really like we both met him. We met him at the same time. So he was in a lot of pain. He was older, and there was he sat in his chair and he was extremely friendly and he was very kind and very nice to meet. But then I think of when I saw Eunice and how he was like holding kids on his shoulders and posing for pictures and stuff, and I think that's the experience that people want when they meet the guy who plays Chewbacca. So he's perfect to play this character. But I would love to see, like we talked about earlier when we were talking about the Old Republic, I want to see new stories. I want to see something different. Like I can see them mentioning if the next Star Wars trilogy is set in the future, then I can see them definitely talking about Luke Skywalker or talking about the Skywalker name. But the characters I think are gone. I think it's all about introducing new characters and bringing new storylines.
Yes,
so I agree.
Do not. I definitely agree with that. Next.
All right, our next one. After the firing of Gina Carano, Jon Favreau will actually recast for Cara Dune and not kill off the character.
No, I doubt they're ever going to do that. No.
See,
I because you remember my conversation. I think look what they did for James Gunn. James Gunn ended up coming back to Disney to do his last
scenarios. Though it was very different. Though
it was very different, but it like I know
her comments are very current, and his behavior was not.
It was like 10 years back. Yeah, I know, and he did apologize for all the stuff he talked about because the stuff he talked about was against women. It was against women, so it was against women. So it was So it was against women. But once again, I want her to come back. Like I really liked her character. I'm really attracted to her. I really liked her character, and I want her to come back. I hate to say it. She's on my list technically. So,
on my list.
honey, she's on my list. It's like her. It's bad that she talks about this stuff, but I do want her to come back, and I don't think they should recast her. Once again, you might next year Disney might be talking to her and say, listen, blah blah blah, wants to come back, or she's like, hey, I want to come back. I can see her coming back.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you on the do not. I don't think they'll recast the character.
Yeah.
They may just go on past the character and not really need her anymore. I don't know. But
yeah.
I don't see her coming back though. only because she seems very embedded in this alt-right movement now, and it doesn't seem like she's interested in doing anything else.
Yeah,
so
that'd be interesting.
Which is sad. Which is really sad.
All right.
Anyway,
next.
So the person who took Grogu from the Jedi Temple during Order 66 was Darth Vader.
Do not. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Is it just because the options of it not being anyone else other than Darth Vader are too great?
Because I feel like
or
it
you
was
just not see that as Darth Vader.
I feel like it was just someone running off from who was probably a Jedi to try to get him out, try to get all the kids out as quick as they can, because they saw what that Darth Vader killed innocent little kids. So I think it was the opposite. So because I don't think he probably would have killed him. That's me.
All right, so it's our first time that we're going to disagree. I do think it was Darth Vader.
Oh, wow.
And here's why. I'm still...
You're no longer my friend.
Oh, whatever. I still have like this tiny little knot in the back of my head that still believes there's a chance that Anakin Skywalker let those kids go. I don't know why. I just have like this. The fact that they cut away from that room. Did you hear the story too recently about when Hayden Christensen went into the room, saw the kids, like the little boy comes forward, and apparently they cast that kid because he looked just like young Jake Lloyd, right, who played the young Anakin Skywalker. So they wanted it to show the symbolic element of killing the innocence of his youth, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? They're everywhere, blah blah blah. And then you know how the kid jolts?
Yeah.
So apparently Hayden Christensen, when he went in, he went boo, like and like scared the crap out of the kid in order for him to jolt. And I thought, wow, like that's a pretty decent tactic, man, to get this little kid to do what you need him to do. But I have it in my head, even if it wasn't for a good reason, because remember how Grogu's memories after the Jedi Temple are dark.
Yeah.
That there is a possibility that because that species is so powerful, but yet at the same time so rare, that I can see Darth Vader taking Grogu from the Jedi Temple and turning him over to the Emperor.
Nah, I can't see that.
So I do believe that it was Grogu,
and I believe you're wrong, but okay.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. you're on a ball. Like you were one of those guys where like 12 months later you're right. So who knows? Like maybe next year we'll find out on the next season of Mandalorian. All
right, do we have one
that
more?
You were in fact right.
Do we have one more?
We got a couple more.
Let's just do one more because we do have to get back to our wives.
All right, okay. So the last one then, with Ray Park posting his mall prosthetics on Instagram. Did you see this?
No, I missed this one.
So Ray Park posted a picture of the Darth Maul prosthetics on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he put the words "Meet me on Dathomir" underneath it. So now that we have that post by Ray Park with the Maul prosthetics on Instagram with the words "Meet me on Dathomir," we now know that Maul will appear on Obi-Wan Kenobi. Do or do not believe that?
Because we know he couldn't find him in Rebels, and he had to use what's his name to find him.
But you were very confident that Kenobi is going to leave Tatooine.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe they did do a running. I can say yes. I do believe in that.
You do believe?
Yes, I do.
That interesting.
I do believe.
I because there is no
not 100%
to choose,
not 100%,
right? But at the same time, there is no try. We have to do or do not. So I do agree with that as well.
All right. So that was
do or do not. There is no try,
and we're going to we should do this again. We're going to do this next episode. Now, right now we were doing it weekly. Now we're going to do monthly. So our next one should be in a month from now for our podcast.
That's Daddy Rich's call. I would love to do bi-weekly, like every other week if possible, or even 3 weeks. I just I feel like people are losing us because there's so many massive gaps between each episode.
All right. We'll sit down and talk to each other about it and go from there, since you put me on the spot now. But yeah,
Daddy Rich has this life, and so like because he has a life, like he doesn't
because I have to. Oh, I have to get up early in the morning, go to work, unlike some people. But you're at home.
Right now, I have to work from home, but I'm going back to the office soon.
All right, so let's get into that. Once again, you can find us at our Twitter page. That is
D Hoth Podcast.
And you can also follow us on Instagram that's Destination Hoth at Instagram. All right, or at Destination Hoth on Instagram. You can also send us an email at our Gmail, that destinationhoth@gmail.com. Let us know your opinion. Tell us, send us something, an idea for us to use for the show too. We love to hear from our fans out there. And once again, thank you for being a fan. Once again, I hope you guys enjoy this.
For being a fan.
Hope you enjoy this. This
and don't forget,
segment.
we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. It's on YouTube here. So tell your friends about it. Tell everyone about it. Leave a comment at the bottom of our YouTube page, because we love to hear from you out there, as our fans out there. And we love doing this, and we want to do more. So hopefully we can get more and more of this episodes out bi-weekly and go from there. All right. So from Jedi, from me, Daddy Rich, saying have a great Valentine's Day. Have a great rest of the Black History Month, and enjoy the vibe. What you have to say?
May the Force be with you, and be good to each other.
All right, so saying peace out. Have a great rest of your month. All right, peace. I'm going to take us out now. Okay, I'm taking us out. Should I take us out now, or should you take us? I'll take us out now. Okay. All right, there we go.
The Nick Winter Show, and I do the entertaining. Thank you. Let's go out with something really hot for these folks. A big hit out of '77. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.